what we're going to take a look at today now is, this is out of Chapter 1, Section 3, and this is off of the worksheet that I passed out actually in class, and these are some of the problems off of the front side of that worksheet. Okay, the first group that students have to be able to do is they're going to have to be able to name the property. And they can look these up in their book. So let's just take a look at some of the properties. Here we have 9 times 7 equals 7 times 9. Okay, so if the order is just switched, okay, in addition and multiplication, it doesn't matter what order we add in or multiply in. And this is the commutative property of multiplication. Okay, and students can abbreviate, so we'll put commutative, okay, of, and you can put a multiplication sign. So that would be the answer to number 1. We'll circle that answer. All right, number 2, 37 times 0 equals 0. Okay, this is multiplicative property of 0. Okay, so once again we can abbreviate multiplicative, in this case property of 0. And what that means is anything times 0 is 0. This one here, 1 times 87 equals 87. Okay, this is the multiplicative property or identity property of multiplication. The identity of the number hasn't changed. Anything times 1, the number stays the same. The identity stays the same. So that's a good way to remember that. So identity, I-D-E-N-T-I-T-Y. Okay, in this case, of multiplication, so I can just put a multiplication sign. Okay, here's one a little different. 14 plus 6 equals 6 plus 14. Once again, kind of goes back up to this here. Okay, it doesn't matter what order we add in. The order is just switched around, so that is a commutative property, but in this case it's an addition problem. So it's commutative property of addition. So commutative, okay, of addition, and you can put an addition sign. All right, this one here. Now we got parentheses, and generally when we have parentheses, it's going to be the associative property. However, there's one thing you got to kind of pay close attention to, is the order that the numbers are in on each side of the equal sign need to be the same. So in this case here, we got 3 times 6 times 8. Here we have 3 times 6 times 8. It's a 3, a 6, and an 8, a 3, a 6, and an 8. Okay, the order we multiply in does not matter here. So we got parentheses, what they're doing is saying, you know, do you have to do 3 times 6 first to get the same on both sides? And you really don't. It doesn't matter order. This is associative property of multiplication. Okay, so associative of multiplication. Now, with that being said, here's another one where we have parentheses. All right, so quite often when students see those parentheses, they want to say, okay, that's associative property, end of story. Not necessarily the case. You have to make sure that the order of the numbers is not different. Okay, the grouping symbols, the parentheses, can be around whatever, but the order of these numbers have to be the same. So you look at 2 and a 15 and a 10. Here's a 2, a 10, and a 15. They've switched around there. They're not the same order. Okay, so this is not associative property. Okay, it's actually commutative property of multiplication. And that's a little bit tricky. All right, in order for it to be associative, these numbers have to be in the same order, and they're not. Okay, so this actually is commutative of multiplication, not associative. And that's a little tricky, but that's the reason why it's commutative and not associative. So when you see parentheses, usually it's going to be associative, but you got to study it a little bit, look at it a little closer. Okay, one other thing off of the worksheet that students have to be able to do is what is called simplify these algebraic expressions. Now when you simplify algebraic expressions, you're solving them as far as you can. Okay, we don't know what the variables are. Here are some variables, an A, a B, a W. We don't know the values of them. They're not given to us. but we're gonna solve these a little further than what we have them at. Okay, so if we take number 9, all right, 0 times 6, we can combine that. And 0 times 6 is 0. And the A would go with the 0, well, anything times 0 is 0. So when we simplify this here, the answer is 0. We don't have to put the letter A with it. Anything times 0 is 0, so that's the answer. This one here, we can combine the 7 and the 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. We have a B variable that's with it, so we're going to put 12 plus B. That would be the answer to that one. Make sure you put the addition sign, because if you just put a 12 followed by a B, that means multiply. Okay? This here, now here's a multiplication one. This is 6W times 9. Well, we can times our 9, or I'm sorry, 4W times 9. We can times our 9 and our 4. Okay, 4 times 9 is 36. And then we put our variable with it, W. Okay, and the way we read that is 36 times W. And that's the way I want students to get in the habit of writing this. I don't want a multiplication sign. That can be confused with a variable, especially if they use an X for the multiplication sign, and prefer not to have a dot between them either. As we get into higher level math, this is the way we want to show multiplication. That's 36 times W. Okay, this one here, real similar. We can go 20 times 1 is 20. And our T goes with it, so 20T. Number 13, okay, in addition, so we can add these up. 5 and 4 is 9, and we have our X, so 9 plus X. Okay, and that order could be reversed. You could put X plus 9, because it's an addition problem, it doesn't matter order there. Okay, and on this one here now, this means multiply. No sign between 6A and 10, so that's multiplication. So we can multiply our 6 and our 10 to get 60. So our answer here is 60A. Okay, and hopefully that's helpful on this, and good luck on the worksheet. Take your time, do good work.